How God Created Angels. Welcome to the New Spirit radio show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. Today's date is December 18 of 2024. Coming to you live from California, both NorCal and SoCal are your hosts, Reverend Tom Bigley and Reverend Catherine Taylor, playing audio segments we call Messages from Spirit. Why? Helping you understand the fundamental question, what are we here for?
And these sessions are recorded trance segments from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So for new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, which means Sylvia contracted to let her and Francine's essences exchange places in Sylvia's body. And we think of our bodies being similar to a car. One driver gets out and another driver gets in. And this allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master teacher and healer, a guide named Rahim, would exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Rahim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our spirit guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during the trance, Sylvia would sit on a nice bench in a rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, Reverend Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley.
Hello, how is it going?
Hey, how do you do? We're here. I've been excited about, hey, we had a fun thought, got an email suggesting some questions, and so I elaborated on it, and I think you'll enjoy this. Something to listen for when we get into our How Did You Use Novus Spiritus philosophy. For those of you that are new, welcome. Glad you made it. We do have an outline. I want to introduce you to our outline so you understand why does this take an hour and a half? Well, because there's a lot of stuff here that, many people have different feelings about and want to make sure you're aware of it. We like to start out with some announcements, which I'll get to shortly. Then we follow that with how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy? If you're familiar with it, now's a good time to start posting in chat. How did you use it? From there, we go to special prayers and a moment of silence. Then, yes, we'll get into the trance segments. We share a meditation by Sylvia. I'll talk about some closing notes. Then we get into a novena. It's a special prayer ceremony, which I will describe and I'll lead us on that a little bit later. Then I encourage some appreciation, and we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia. And many people enjoy posting thank yous and have a good evening and all that fun blessing stuff at the very end, which we share on the video. At this time, the next step is supposed to be lighting a candle. Wherever you are, if it's appropriate for your venue, by all means, share and lighting a candle too. If not, grab one of those flickery light things, if and when it's appropriate. Next step is announcements. My announcements tell me I should be welcoming all the new subscribers and followers. And then to continue, hey, would you help promote this content? On Facebook, you can share, like, and follow. You can also, share, like, and follow. That gets this information out. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, click on the thumbs up, and click the bell so that you get notified. I see at this moment, on my screen that I'm monitoring this on, it says there's 0 thumbs up. So please do hit some thumbs up so we get to see some numbers on there. Kat did express there was a handful, which we do appreciate. If you want to donate and help support this program and the organization, by all means, go to our website at novus.org. You can use a credit card, Venmo, and PayPal. Yes. No shows. No shows. We are not going to be on, next week and the following week. So for 2 weeks, we're going to take off. December 25th. Yes, we're not going to have a show on December 25th or January 1st. So the next show should be January 8th. So
Yes.
keep that in mind. Also, don't miss out on Chris question specials and get email notifications. You can do that by going to his website, chrisrightnow.com, and put your email in so that you get notified. Getting a reading with Chris Dufresne can be that hindsight for your future. And I'd like to ask, when's the best time to plant a tree? Well, 10 years ago. When's the second best time? Today.
Right
So
now.
yes. So get the seeds today from a reading to plant for your future. Facebook users, if you want to be seen on our notes as they go by, if you're posting in the comments and you want us to know who you are, could you go to the description, click on that link? It's going to ask you to do what do you call that? Ask to accept permissions. It's something to do with Facebook, and I'm not sure what else, but click on that if you want us to see who you are in our comments. Cool. We did that. Now's our fun time. Normally we like to post the question, and Kat and I like to share, how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy last week? And yes, we want to hear from yours, and we're going to do our best to get to those. However, somebody, I didn't ask if I could use their name on the show, and they didn't say so. However, we got an email about secondary themes. This particular person has the same themes as Sylvia had, but in the opposite. So Sylvia's was primary was humanitarian and secondary was loner. And yes, they created some conflict for her, but being Sylvia, she got through that, lived through that. This particular person's was the opposite, which I thought was rather unique and really sparked my intrigue, and thought we'd share some ideas about secondary themes. This particular person had the primary of loner and secondary of humanitarian. My thinking on that, and they were asking, how do you deal with that? And my first thought, and I want to get some input from Kat too, because you've got a relative, you said, with the secondary of humanitarian. My first 2 cents. Oh, by the way, we're also going to share several ministers. I asked several ministers, hey, what's your secondary theme, and how have you worked with that? So I want to share a whole bunch of things that I hope gives all of you, what's the right word? A flavor of the secondary theme and what it's there for, and how to work through that. Where was I going? Oh, the my 2 cents on humanitarian as a secondary. It's like, don't help so many people. Is my short version of it. My secondary theme is tolerance, and you know what? I had written in my notes too what I was going to share about my tolerance. Oh, and darn it! All right, where's my cursor? That would help. Here's my so for my secondary theme, here are the notes that I wrote that I wanted to share. Primary is how we live, who we are. Secondary, we have to overcome that. Many times, I can't even read my own notes here. Sorry. Many times I have to tolerate negative situations. So, tolerance, if you're getting cut off in traffic, it's very to me, sometimes it's very upsetting if I'm, a little tired or worn out and I'm not paying attention. It's like, I emotionally explode. And then I got to remind myself, wait a minute, what's my theme? And so I do what I can to calm myself down. And I also use one of Francine's tools that she reminded us of. When you find something, it's like, I can't do anything about it, but I'm so mad. Put a dunce cap on the person's head and let them go. Visualize a dunce cap. Well, I've gotten so mad that I would visualize a phallic symbol instead of a dunce cap. So, And but I took it so far, getting so mad that I'd say, no, I want to have that show up, and they feel like they've got a phallic symbol on their head. So, and then I had to stop and think, wait a minute, okay, I have a tolerance theme, so secondary theme, and I really shouldn't be doing that because that crosses, to me, that crosses the line into, like, trying to put a curse on somebody. And I'm like, how we feel about those. It's like, don't, because that goes back right on you. So I stopped. And, think of just Francine's, all she was saying symbolically, or visualize that, the dunce cap on their head, the cone cap on their head. And it's like, okay, that's all I'm doing. I'm just visualizing that, saying, okay. And I'm also thinking that, reminding myself, I got to think in terms of community. I don't know why that person did it. And all I got to do is back off just a little bit, out of, back up in traffic a pinch. How many seconds am I going to lose by letting that person in and not feeling so upset about it, besides the fact
Sure.
that I'm spending a lot of energy? So that's my sort of start on this. Do you want to, Kat, you want to fill in on, like, the secondary of
Yes.
humanitarian?
Yes. So sometimes, sometimes we hear about positive themes being in the secondary place, and that doesn't mean that positive activities are bad for you. No, 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 no. So my aunt is just a has just had a tremendous career of helping other people and being in teaching and building up community universities, and just all in from the heart, hands on, fighting for people to have this positive place for that they can learn and grow and be successful. Now her themes, she's actually has a warrior theme, which I would never have pegged ever. I never would have pegged that. She has a
Yeah.
warrior theme as her primary, and her secondary theme is humanitarian. And we had a conversation with Chris about that. It was a lovely conversation. Myself, my aunt, and my grandmother were all on the phone with him, and I had said to get a reading. That's to I'd set them up with a reading as a treat. And so my aunt, the way that Chris explained it is that the positivity in that secondary theme helps to kind of temper the primary theme from being too strong. And so she has had this entire lifespan of, like, kind of working on, like, subtleties of how what are the ways in which I fight for something, or what are the ways in which I advocate for something, and really letting that humanitarian secondary theme inform the choices that she makes as being this very positive warrior. So secondary theme doesn't necessarily mean it has to be bad. It can be a very, very, like, positive thing, but it does help create that friction there. My husband, his themes are experiencer and activator. And you're like, activator? Does that mean that he just sits around and, like, lays about? And the way Chris explains it is, no, 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 no. That means that he wants things to happen right away. And so the friction there is, well, if something doesn't happen right away, what do you do with that? And that's a little bit of the emotional friction there. So activator is a great thing. Like, it means that he wants to start stuff. It means that he wants to do things. But then it's like, what's the execution of that? Same thing with my aunt with the warrior and humanitarian. What's the execution going to be like? So having a situation where someone has, let's say, the primary theme of loner and secondary theme of humanitarian, it's like, okay, so maybe there's a lot of experience of being a loner, but it gets tempered with all these opportunities of wanting to help other people. And what is that going to be like as a person goes about their journey?
Cool. And in addition to that, let's see, where'd I put it now? Oh, here it is. I also asked several of our, I asked all the ministers, and I got several responses of their secondary themes and how do they use it. And let's see. I'm going to read the first one. Did you have the second one you wanted
Yeah,
to just kind of browse through while I'm reading?
we're good to go.
So the first one is Minister Kathleen wrote, says, I tend to tolerate things that I shouldn't tolerate, but I'm learning to defend myself and walk away. At the same time, there are things that I should tolerate but don't. When her partner was dying, she would take off her oxygen and refuse to take her medicine. And Kathleen goes on, I would get really upset with her. I finally accepted this as part of her chart. It is hard being a caretaker with a secondary theme of tolerance.
Oh, God bless.
Yeah.
So I'm so honored that she shared that. Our next anecdote, our next testimonial is from Reverend Yvonne. She says, my secondary theme is emotionality. I've always worn my emotions on my sleeve. And until my reading with Sylvia, I had no idea why I was always so serious and sometimes angry. Since then, I've learned to listen and that everyone is different and we all have our lessons to learn. I meditate to relax and stay connected to my higher power, Mother and Father God. Before I speak with anyone, I surround them and myself with purple, I think it's purple.
Muzzle. Remember the cloth
Oh,
scarf? Yes.
purple. Okay, a purple like face covering scarf. Okay,
Sash. Yeah.
sash, sure. Allowing the conversation to be spiritually true and the air we breathe to be clean and clear. This keeps me calm and able to listen without judgment. I'm very aware of my breathing now, and I can control my breathing. And in the past, I would stop breathing without knowing it until I realized I was out of breath for no reason. Born into a family where everyone but my mother treated me badly, and trying to get to know others was very hard for me. I was scared, speechless, waiting for someone to attack me. I've learned to evaluate my thoughts and emotions to determine if things are real or worries are without merit. Every night I ask for negativity absorbed during the day and any negativity that I may have from past lives to be released into the white light of the Holy Spirit and dissolved. What a marvelous explanation of how she has used her secondary theme to really, really take a hold of all of this. And Yvonne, if you're seeing this, thank you very much for sharing that. I was very honored.
And Reverend Dan wrote, he says, my secondary theme is loner. Most of my life I isolated myself and did not or need anything. Sorry, I'm you can tell I didn't edit on here very well. Isolated myself and did not or need anything from anyone. Once I had kids, I needed other people's help. I had to learn that doing everything without anyone's help was selfish and self-defeating. I've learned to accept help from others, and it lets love in and makes life easier. I do like to be alone to recharge sometimes. It is it's not for that long.
Beautiful. Thank
So
you.
I thought, yeah, that's helpful for some people when the sharing with that. I know we've heard from others about the different negative themes, and sometimes they're a challenge.
The next, do you want to tackle parts of the next one?
Oh yeah, I just realized that one's. I like this one. It was, but yes, it is lengthy here. So
I mean, it's like first part and second part, because she does talk about a lot of like specific events in between.
You know what? I unfortunately I didn't review, but got it. I'll start with like the first couple of paragraphs here.
Sure.
So this is from Reverend Rebecca. My secondary theme is rejection. It all started the day my mother brought me home from the hospital. I have three older brothers, and as the story goes, when they found out I was a girl, they told my mom to send me back. Partly that could be humorous, but yes, I can understand the feelings behind that. Actually, I don't remember a lot of rejection as a child, just that I don't really fit in. Rejection theme has a lot to do with my work life. My first job was in fast food. I worked for a particular franchise in my hometown for 11 years, working my way up in the restaurant to the restaurant manager position. I became the go-to manager to fix a store not running properly. Once all six of their stores were running smoothly, I was no longer needed and was fired. Of course, I felt devastated, lost, and didn't understand why. Shortly after being fired, I found out my husband was having an affair and was rejecting me for someone else. This took another toll on my psyche. Not only as I was not only was I devastated and lost, now I had no self-esteem. What kept me going was my two beautiful children. Now I had become a single mom. My ex was still in their lives, happy to only see them every other weekend. Oh, thank you. That's what they meant. Which that's what I was rereading about themes is sort of typical of rejection theme. I started a new career in medical billing. I was able to go home at the same time every day and not have to work weekends and holidays. If I had not been fired, I don't think I would have found my new career and got my self-esteem back. I worked for a particular billing company for 12 years. Once again, worked my way up to supervisor, had the place running smoothly, and they thought I was no longer needed and fired me. I I I have worked for a total of 8 different medical billing companies, left 4 and was fired or laid off by the other 4. Most companies' main goal was the almighty dollar. They didn't care how they treated their employees. Most owners had a type of God complex. They would say something and expect others to jump. I learned if I didn't express oh, I learned if you didn't express your opinion on something, the bosses said they took your silence as an agreement. Each time I was terminated, I became much stronger and learned how not to treat others. Let's see, sorry. I feel every time I was terminated was for my own good. Had I not, I probably, I probably, I'd probably be still working for a toxic company. The last time I was fired or laid off, I didn't just take it. I let my boss know how I felt, how I really felt, and what she should do to improve her company. She still laid me off, but a year later, called and asked me to come back. She stated everything I told her she should do. I'm having trouble reading here. She stated everything I told her she should do was right and followed my advice. I did go back to work for her after pursuing me for about 6 months, and it has been the best employee boss relationship I ever had. If I was still married to my ex, I don't think I would have had the courage to explore anything but just exist. So there's a positive learning lesson from it. I realized my ex was holding me back from finding myself, and in the process, I found Novus Spiritus. Or did it find me? I've been with Novus during several of the terminations, and each time I would write a letter to the universe informing them what I wanted and needed. The last time I was looking for a job, I had one within 2 weeks. That's cool. Over the years, I had many people come and go, uh, could which could be looking at as some form of rejection. Some just went away, and others made it a very dramatic exit before they were gone. Some I miss very much, but I feel it is their loss. I will survive. Looking back on my rejection life, I can see that each one was actually a blessing. They made me who I am. They made me who I am today. Stronger, wiser, and much more tolerant, which is my primary theme. Let's see. Tolerant of others. I am much nicer, empathetic, and a great listener. I have become a very optimistic person and truly believe, as Francine would say, everything will be all right. I hope this help. I hope this helps. I don't look at rejections in my life as rejections anymore. I see them as learning opportunities. Well, that was a mouthful. Yeah, but yes, that's. I trust that that's gives some helpful insight and similarities to secondary themes and ways to walk through them. What purpose can they serve? How can you create positive out of those? And
Absolutely.
the last one, yes, you can see the little bit of an edit I made there. So you want to do the last one?
Yep. So Reverend Cass, hello, shares. My secondary theme is loner. I have learned to deal with and work through my irritation when I have to be around too many people for too long. I think part of this theme is control, so I work through letting go of control in situations and trust other people. This loner theme helps me to enjoy my own company and trust my own judgment. I'm confident as a result and can focus more on my relationship with my own God center and being comfortable in my own skin. That is marvelous. Thank you so much for sharing. And Tom, what is your secondary theme? Is tolerance? Yes.
Yes.
My secondary theme is rejection, and I could go into a whole litany. I don't need to. I want to just walk away from it, which is what I recall Francine saying is the point of the rejection theme, is to just walk away from it. And so I've done my best with that, and every now and then I get in my own head. I tend to get in my own head sometimes about work, and it's so silly. It'd be like, am I helping this person the best way? What if they don't like how I'm helping? Which is so stupid to say out loud. That is so dumb to say out loud. But it just shows how that one little thought can turn into a warp, and it's like, no, let's get this back down to size. Like, helping is helping, and that's it. Like, just walk away from it. It's fine. So, wonderful discussion. I'm so glad that you brought this up.
No, see, this raises a question in my mind. When you said walk away, is that specifically for rejection or for themes?
The rejection theme. She says the point of the rejection theme, is to walk away from it.
Okay.
So what I noticed of myself was that I was stuck constantly in this terror of being rejected and wanting other people's acceptance. And it was just this all-consuming, awful state of being. And then over time and therapy and life and everything, it seemed to get better and better and better until I stopped caring about it nearly so much. I feel like a different person in a different person's skin compared to 20 years ago. Yeah. Just completely different. But yeah, that was what she said. Like, the whole point of the rejection theme is to walk away from it.
Okay.
Because that's hard. That was hard to do. That was hard work to do, man.
Yeah. It's hard to wrestle our emotions. It's hard to wrestle our emotions sometimes, and I've been reminded again that the expression "this is an emotional planet," and it's about emotional lessons. Fun. Now that we've given our dollars worth instead of 2 cents or a quarter, or we've shared a lot. I trust this is helpful for many from now till even for people to review in the future. Were there any comments?
Yeah, quite a few. First of all, prayers to Old School. She is under the weather today. We're sending you heartfelt prayers. Jorge shares, my primary theme is rescuer and secondary theme is experiencer. I've learned throughout the years to rescue myself first, because if I rescue anyone else, things might get underwater, is what it sounds like. Thank you for sharing. That he says, I always felt like if I gave into that too much, then I might lose control and crash in life. That's really, really insightful. Tangela over on Facebook says, I'm rescuer and builder, and if someone else has it, let me know how you see it. Interesting. Carmita says, my first is humanitarian, secondary is caretaker. I have a really close friend with that combination too. And my goodness, if she isn't the most like in it, helping every single person in her orbit, and just hugest heart that there could possibly be. And she really and it's just marvelous to see how she works through that.
What were those two again?
Caretaker and humanitarian both together.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
That almost
She's
like they
so busy.
one
helping
propels
people.
the other. But here's the challenge. To my understanding about secondary theme, it's something to overcome. How is that? Is that emotionally beneficial, or are they just like overachieving and not helping themselves?
I that's a good question for Carmita to ponder. Of the friend that I'm very close to in life, how I see her kind of experience the friction is like it is a consuming propulsion that she has to help other people, and so I've seen her at times taking a step back to work on listening and holding space to see how best to help another person, instead of, because otherwise she'll just sweep in and she's gonna fix it. Gonna fix it. It's lovely, beautiful soul. So that's one thing. Another is to trying to balance all of this helping and creative energy with also taking care of self, and really kind of fine-tuning how to like fine-tuning self-care for herself as well. And I think she's done marvelous work with this. I mean, I don't see like moments of like, oh, you shouldn't be caretaking, or you shouldn't be, or you're like reaching,
overextending
I don't really see that with her, but 20 years ago we were in a different place. We were in a different place, and she was trying to figure out how to manifest that. But now she's great, and Chris wants her to go be a life coach.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, cool. Garden says, my themes are rescuer and harmony. Oh, queen, that sounds interesting. Let's see here. Gardens shares, I got my sign from Mother God, and she heard and is working on my petition. Someone said Blue Jay in a craft organization video, and Blue Jay was my sign 4 days after my petition.
Cool.
Wow, that's cool. Thank you, Asta. Scrolling through. It's got some Merry Christmases. Merry Christmas right back at you to everybody. I think the comment section is a little bit broken on this website for some reason. So I'm seeing the same comments multiple times. All right. Between breaks, I'll take a look and reread things. But yeah. But thank you, everyone, for your beautiful commentary and community. Love it.
Really appreciate the ministers that shared, and the person that emailed for inspiring this fun conversation and sharing. So I trust this is going to help several people.
Mm-hmm.
Now's the time for special prayers. So what we encourage you to do is, we're gonna ask for the, who is it? Who helps with this? Yes, Mother God, archetypes, archangels, even our spirit guides to get in there and help influence special change, help people get through the challenges they're dealing with. And I want you to visualize what those outcomes are, whether it's for yourself or someone else. Visualize what those outcomes are and visualize that either you or that person has finished the challenge, beyond what is it like for them beyond the challenge. So let's take a moment of silence and we're going to ask for that energy to get out, whether it's public or private prayer requests. That's what we're putting that energy out for. So let's take a moment of silence and amen.
Amen.
Yes, if you're posting prayer requests on our what is it, on social media, yes, that's public. If you want to do a private prayer request, you can always go to the website and post on our prayer chain. I also like to encourage, be the prayer. If you see a need, fill it. We have a conference call number, so if you're streaming challenged and you're in a place where you can you can either just get audio or you just want to listen to the audio while we're live, we have a conference call number you can call in on and listen while we are live. The number is 888-534-2696. And please do stay muted because that's going to help everybody else that's listening there to have a good show. Now we want to get into. Oh, did you get a chance to sort through the questions, or do we want to jump into the trance segments?
Yes, I got a few others. Aaron says, I asked for the powers to look after my oldest daughter. And let's see here. And Esteban over on Facebook says, I'm experiencer and secondary theme is peacemaker. And imagine a peacemaker in a crazy world like this. Oh, bless.
Wow.
Oh, bless.
Are you sitting on your hands? Sorry.
I think I might be. Oh. But yeah, thank you, everybody, for your comments. It's beautiful. I'll keep reading them as we go.
All right.
Okay, so I am pulling up what we'll need for our segment. So we're continuing with Francine talking about angels in depth. And we're going to pick up with the Dominion's angels only seem to record good deeds. That is so sweet. It is so sweet. The good deeds aren't made public. It's just for you. The good deeds records can prevent people from having to cocoon on the other side. Virtues and Dominion's angels both can assist with past life regression, dreams, and remembering. So again, those psychological tasks. And then Throne's angels, Mother God's angels, they help with communication.
Cool. All right. Here we go with some more education.
But especially the good deeds are recorded. And not so much the bad. Isn't that funny? We leave that more or less up to you. When you go into the hall of justice, some of you are now going to the hall of wisdom, which we really can't figure out what's going on, but it's your choice. But when you go into the Hall of Justice, you're the ones that really upbraid yourself. We're not here to, as Lamsa said, to write down you missing the mark. We're very much interested in, at least they are, of writing down your good acts and your good deeds. And they are written, and they are written in gold. These are not brought out for the populace to view. You're not given any crown for, but sometimes it's very useful to you when you get in to the Hall of Justice and you start upbraiding yourself that this beautiful scroll is brought out and said, so you think you're so bad, look at what you did do. This helps the person coming in a great deal, especially a person in grief, especially a person in guilt. And I don't know of one human being that I've seen, unless they're just totally off chart with their ego out of whack, that doesn't come into the Hall of Justice with the type of mea culpa. They always seem to come in with, I could have done, I should have done, I wish I did, until the peacefulness and the joy and the bliss settles over them. It goes like this. The first entrance back home is blissful, and then all of a sudden the realization of going in and scanning your life hits you. And that's sometimes everybody in heaven, as you well know, or the other side is happy. But that's the only part that becomes a little bit, as Sylvia's word is, glitchy. And so it's very, very good to have the angels there, the record keepers, Dominion saying, look, this is what you've done. This is the record that you have. It certainly makes a very, very, well, it keeps a lot of people from being cocooned. It keeps a lot of people from upbraiding themselves. Because, see, cocooning comes from not only trauma, but it also can come from the person berating themselves. And then, rather than do anything with them, we just cocoon them until they readjust. And it's not bad to cocoon, but it's much better to be awake and alive and doing. You know, how would you like to believe that you were going home, you're going to be happy, and then you were put under anesthetic and meant to sleep? I mean, you're not happy with that. No. So you're in, now if there's a danger of essence being splintered because of too much trauma in this life, we always thought we were going to have to cocoon Sylvia. We've always thought that. But as time has progressed and she's gotten happier, we've decided maybe she won't need to be cocooned and asleep. She's always fought against that anyway. She doesn't like to sleep. So, now, are there any questions about that? The record keepers are very busy. They are very busy. And they are very, very, I guess I want to call them the most elite as far as studiousness is concerned. They are very, very, well, they're sort of the intelligentsia. Yes.
Would they, the Dominions, then be the one, I keep coming across my own experiences, my elevation of, or, you know, advancement of myself, and I think, man, that would be something neat to have to recall later. Are they the ones then you want to access, say, look, recall for this particular situation? Okay.
They would anyway, but they're the ones that flag it with a gold flag, so to speak. I mean, Sylvia coined, and I think it was something that she subconsciously brought with us, or superconsciously, as she likes to say, is that they really do flag that this is a special moment that you can't share with anyone. I mean, one of the things she wants to flag is when she was walking down Chris's hallway and saw the big archangel. She wants everybody to see that what she saw. So, because it was quite thrilling for her. Are there any other questions? Yes.
You would think it would be very difficult for the Dominions, or I'm sorry, the Virtues, with something like Sylvia's life. If she has an example life, you don't have a lot of information to go by, right?
We're writing as we go.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Example lives are strange because she really, really came down with pretty much of a blank sheet. So that was very, very dangerous.
So the happier she gets when she goes back, she's not going to get.
She's not going to be splintered, and she's not going to merge with you and blow you apart.
Good.
Yes.
We have this stuff called microfiche that we can keep records and books on, and then we pull it up and look at it in a bigger form. Is that more or less what the Book of Life is like?
Pretty much. Pretty much. It's like microfiche, or what you might call the most gigantic disc you could ever imagine, that you could call it up on a screen. Yeah. Because one of the most favorite things we have to do, you have your movies. We have gatherings in which somebody will say, if you really want to see what I went through, come over here and let me show you. Do you see what I mean? Now, two things are accomplished here. It's great fun, but we also assimilate and learn. Because it's sort of like a teaching tool. In other words, how did she or he handle this? What steps did they go through? And during that time, if you wish to, you can become very empathetic. You can assimilate that pain if you wish, or that joy.
Northwest, you have questions?
Yeah, I got one. The minions facilitate help us as we get dreams about past lives, and do they also provide the information for our clients as they're being regressed?
Absolutely. Absolutely they do. And you can use that. Remember when I said the cell memory? You can absolutely call on them because, see, what you're doing there is psychological.
Okay.
Well, is there a phylum of angels that can help with communication, not only between people, but also, say, over electrical lines?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. That's when we get into the thrones.
Okay, right.
The thrones are really going to help with the communication.
Thank you.
Okay, I have one more question. You mentioned that when we go to the other side, that we use our lives as learning tools for others and for explanation of what we may have gone through.
Yes.
Do others have the opportunity to view them without our permission, or is that only?
Oh, no, that's only with permission. You see, the scanner is very, very private. But I will tell you this, there's not very much that when we get over there that we're very embarrassed about. You may think so now. But let's say hypothetically you might be. That can go in the archive and be hidden and no one will ever see it. So, but you forget that everybody's viewing what you're doing down here now. So,
It has been.
it has been.
So somebody saw it anyway.
Yes. But just for your own sake, if you didn't want to have it viewed, there is no reason in this world we wouldn't bury it in the archive and no one would have to see it. Yes.
Do the virtues or dominions play any role in our dream process?
That's what he just asked, and I just answered. Yeah, they do. They help in the both, in fact, help in the facilitation of cell memory, dreams, yes. Whether they're record keepers or keepers of good deeds or the chart, they're helping with the chart.
I thought it was cool that one of the angels can help you, one of the phylums can help you with regressions. If you're facilitating past life regression, great, ask them to help you. I would also say, if you're not, if you do, ask for it in a dream. You can work on meditating for yourself, doing self-meditation or self-hypnosis, and step yourself through it, and ask for those angels to help you pull that memory through, and understand the purpose behind it.
Absolutely. And this ties in with a comment that we got from Aaron over on YouTube, saying, thank you for the prayers for my oldest child. She's been having issues controlling her thoughts, and it sounds like she got a diagnosis of neurodivergence. And we've heard on trance before that and from Sylvia too, that people who elect to have those to have kind of psychological blocks in places are very advanced souls, and that underneath things like autism or any sort of blockage, there is a soul that is there waiting to come out and express themselves. And so we heard in this trance series, including for things like autism, anything psychological, such as what Aaron is talking about, call on this these two phylum of angels, virtues and dominions, to help with those, to help with the psychologically, to help things get flowing again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. Glad they shared.
Yeah, very much.
Any other?
Oh, all of the YouTube comments just disappeared. Ah.
Uh-oh. That's
Tangela shares, on my way to a doctor appointment, I put a disc in that wasn't the name of the disc. It was one of those blue blank ones, and I put it in, and it turned out it was a recording I'd saved from when Sylvia was on the radio doing Ask Sylvia. The subject was Tenet of Novus. She had me reviewing how I have not finished climbing the mountain of self, and that's my how-to for the week. Thank you so much for sharing that. There's some beautiful gems in the tenets. Each one is its own meditation of something spiritual, for sure. Thoughts on what we just listened to?
I thought I shared those. I didn't have a big anything. Oh yeah, my point was
Sure.
about the phylum that helps with past life regressions.
Yes.
Helping recall that. That's helpful to know.
Yeah, super fascinating. And I think it's so incredibly sweet that the dominions are like primarily just write down all of the good deeds that we do, and that it's there so that people have, it's almost like a reflection of self-esteem. Like, hold on a second, let's slow down. Let's slow down and really look at this with accuracy, because we can talk about someone else's good deeds very easily. Like a loved one's good deeds, we can just talk about how good and wonderful and all the positive things that they've done. But this just seems like such a loving tool for the growth of someone's self-esteem, just to look at ourselves with accuracy. And it's like, hold up, you didn't, like, everything that you just went through, it wasn't for naught. Like, you did a lot right.
Yeah.
It's really, really sweet.
This is a negative planet, so negative energy travels faster and accumulates faster. So it's easy for us to, barrage ourselves or be barraged by the negative. And I think it would be helpful once in a while, and not wait till you get to the other side to ask for the help with the positive ideas. It's like, you're down and distraught and you're thinking, geez, I haven't done a thing. And it's like, okay, I need some help here. A reminder, if I've been doing anything positive, ask them to start tossing ideas in your mind to remind you of what you've accomplished, to help, help you boost some energy.
Yeah.
Boost your emotion.
Yeah. I can understand people's having trepidation of not wanting to have a big ego or an inaccurate view of themselves.
Yeah.
I personally have, like, for the past three or 4 years, I latched onto an idea of wanting to see myself with accuracy, and wanting to see other things with accuracy. And I think that is kind of for me, that's felt like a happy medium with like, how do I work on aspects of my self-esteem without being like, oh, Big ego, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just be like, okay, no. Like I'm doing these things, can check these boxes, I can take a breath, okay, and then move on. So
Cool.
accuracy.
Any oh, sorry. I know where I'm at now. I'm like, oh, we've bumped around here a little bit. Any comments before
Yeah.
you read the second segment?
Yes, we have a comment over on YouTube from Bridget who says, blessings. It's the first time I've made a live show. Thank you for the services. You are so welcome, and blessings and love right back at you. Super, super excited that you're here. And please feel free to comment as we go. D shares that explains why my cousin with Down syndrome gives the best hugs. Oh, absolutely. Ramona shares, I've noticed that people with Down syndrome are so sweet and beautiful. My goodness, yes. Just the nicest, sweetest. Very, very spiritual people who elect that experience. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. And I think maybe we're ready for our second segment.
Cool.
Okay.
I am.
Fabulous. So we've got, for taking notes, we've got Angel's Stones is usually worn as a necklace. And how God created all angels to cover all aspects of helping humanity. So cool. So cool. When virtues might go to council, you'll hear about that. And then virtues and dominions are mentors to guides.
All right. We go. Let's learn some more.
Some angelic knowledge.
Yes, Jenny.
I have a question about the stone. Is it another symbol that they carry, and how do they carry it?
Around their neck.
Like a necklace?
Yes. See, whether it's emerald, bloodstone, whatever it might be, quartz, they're usually carried. And what usually is reflected is many times off the wings. In other words, the same color can be off the wings too.
Is it any relationship with the quality of the mineral, or not necessarily?
I don't think so. I think it's just something that's been allocated to them from the very beginning of time, and I don't know if there's any records any different than that. You know what I mean? It's something that's just a created thing that happened along with the creation.
Thank you.
Yes.
If you were working with a hypnosis client and you wanted to call, you thought, on a specific angel, if you surrounded them with the color of that angel, does that help?
It would help, absolutely. But I think, why not just call on the angel?
Yes.
And then you'd get the color and the angel. So, but what I'm saying is these two phylums here, more than the archangels and the other ones that we've talked about, of course the Carians are all unto themselves, but I would use these for the psychological help. And you do know, I'm sure, that if you do catch what's going on mentally, because look, everything is related back to chart, everything is related back to deeds, or going to be related to deeds. What else is there in life but that? Yes, you're in a physical body, and as you well know, that needs to be healed. But as you progress up the ladder, you're going to see that you get more into the infinite area of the mind soul area we're getting into now. So as we start progressing up the chart, we're getting into the mind soul. This is the beginnings of your chart. This is your record keeping. This is your deeds. You see how this is all then becomes soul mental. Where before we had the archangels with the wands, we had the cherubim, the seraphim with their song that filled the cells of the soul. Now we're getting into the mind soul area. And if I were to do a healing, and of course I have, look, I would call on all of them. But I think first and foremost, I would first call on the archangels. And then from there, I would call on the cherubim, the seraphim. Then I'd call on the virtues, the dominions.
In succession,
In succession, I would, yes, yes.
like layering the healing.
Yes. But in layering, well, I think that's what Roger was talking about, you know, maybe not in this context, but it's levels upon levels that you call. Now, as you get into and I don't want to supersede myself, as we get into the thrones and the principalities, you're talking about then just total protection. You're talking about the fighters, the warriors, and the protectorates. And look at how the phylums begin to round out. Okay, we're talking about the physical body. Of course, they are protecting there too. We're talking about the mental aspect. We're talking about filling your soul with song. We're talking about the mental aspect, and now we're talking about the warrior group. So you see what you're doing is in God, in His wonderful, blessed, infinite wisdom, has taken care of all parts of us by the phylums that He created.
So it's rather like playing a scale where you're hitting each individual vibrational
Note.
level, and it all blends in this wonderful song and tone.
Absolutely. And it all comes together as a gigantic party with everybody blending together in a harmonious, melody, as we say.
Thank you.
Now, if you should by chance leave one out, that's not going to affect anything. It will not. But I think knowledge is probably the Gnostics' most powerful tool. And that's why you're so ahead of the game. Because no matter if this goes into book form or whatever, no one will have it first. No one will be subjected to me as you are. No one will know as much as you've known. And no one will have it firsthand. Are there any other questions? Yes.
Francine, at the beginning when Sylvia was talking, she said that the virtues were the only ones that didn't need council approval. Now, what this kind of means is that when they do something, it's more like a lawyer looking over the contract, looking at the fine work and
the fine, yeah.
If there's a little thing that needs to be changed, then they change it.
Absolutely.
It's not the big things.
No, but we have, I'm glad you asked the question, but we have had them go and petition council and say, we just don't think this is going to work. And usually there's a band of maybe 5 to 10 that'll go and maybe petition council and say, this person isn't ready. You know where we see more of that than anything else is when there is an oath that was taken, when there was maybe the thought of a suicide, or the person has been cautioned. Then you'll see them go in and really maybe talk it up to council. I don't want to give you the feeling that council is fallible, but it takes a whole group of government hierarchy to handle. Strange enough, you have, like I've told you so many times, you have no idea what goes into even just one chart. Just one chart is so intricate that it would drive most mathematicians or let's say any scientific mind crazy. The intricacies, you see every little movement you make, from scratching your eyebrow to going to bed, to what is written, it's that minute. So when you start getting that down, you're really taking all the days that you've lived in every minute, I don't mean every blink of your eye, that would be ridiculous. But every tiny thing or movement that you make is recorded. So, and can be viewed, by the way. Now, are we always viewing? The guide always is. Do you have a group around you always viewing? No. Unless it is usually of a spiritual nature. For instance, since you've all been under such horrendous, and I'm sure you know that, whether it's personal or outward attack in the last few years, because we've gone into such an acceleration. But that's all waning now. That's all coming to a crashing halt. You've gone through your 2 years of hell, so to speak. You had your own Y2Ks. All of you've had. I know that. I've talked to your guides, whether it's been internal, external, or both. You've all had your, I don't mean so much your doubts about your belief system, but just going through your own stuff. It's over now. It's over. I can't promise you another acceleration we won't go through, but not as bad as this one has been. This has been a granddaddy. Yes.
Francine, you've made a couple of comments where I've wondered, are the virtues and dominions basically guides for the guides? Are they helping the guide?
Well, I think that's a very interesting way to put it. You might put it in that way. You might put it definitely in that way. Let's put it, I like the idea of guides. Let's call it mentors. We're just semantics now. That's all it is. But that's a very good way to put it. They're sort of our mentors. Because of their great knowledge, we would be stupid not to utilize like I said, their intelligentsia. We would be stupid not to use that.
Which we can be sometimes while we're here. That's just part of the environment and how things work, and we learn to educate ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of, Francine has told us several times, and Rahim has talked about how at that time of the recording, there was negativity going on, and they're going over, all the people, including myself, because I was there, we're going over these hills and bumps and so on of negativity, of our negative experiences, and being badgered by negativity, and that things are getting better. Yes, in your chart, that's going to happen. There's going to be ups and downs as you're going through your life. It probably won't coordinate with exactly what Francine's talking about. Think of this as when you feel that you're in the middle of something, the middle of the negativity, like, oh my God, when's this going to end? Well, keep that in mind. Yes, it will end at some point. You might be in the thick of it, but ask for help from your guide to say, as a reminder that, oh my gosh, I'm right in the middle of negativity, and this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. Did she say something? It sounded like an amazing quote. She said, what else? I can't remember the exact words now, but she said, what else is there except for deeds? What else is there in life except for deeds?
Darn it.
I know.
Me. I got to go listen to this now.
I know.
That sounds like...
She slipped it in. I was like, oh, that's fire.
I don't know how I would have missed that. You're making it sound like a favorite famous phrase. So
I was like, that's fire. Yes, chef.
Okay.
Yes, chef. It was amazing. What else is there in life except for deeds? I want to re-listen to that again because, ooh, that was good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you find it, tell me about where you get it, see it or hear it, and I'm gonna go listen myself because I want to make a note of that one. Anyway, fun. Glad you said.
Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. I am. So we've got another question. Is there a list of the hierarchy of angels? Yes, it is in Sylvia's Book of Angels, which I don't have in my book tower. I've got it on my Kindle on my phone. So I'll drop that into the Discord later, into our Discord server. Over on Facebook, Jamie says, I miss Sylvia. Yes, I do too. She was so funny, just so. I don't think I've ever heard somebody speak so relatably the way that Sylvia could talk to anybody about any topic under the sun.
Yeah.
Kristen shares, my daughter has a rescuer theme. Problem was, she was rescuing men that were a nightmare for her. Rescuing animals, etc. would be so much better. Yes, that is something that can happen with the rescuer theme, is recognizing who doesn't want rescuing or who doesn't need rescuing, and trying to channel that into other avenues. Mm-hmm. Tangela asks, everything is related to deeds? I think I want to say yes. I wish that Francine was here, that we could ask her, but she usually is. She was the one that says, if you do one good deed a day, that's being spiritual.
That is one of her quotes.
Yeah. Kristen says Sylvia was a presence. Yes, she was. Amen. And I think that is more or less it for comments right now. But thank you, everybody, for everything. Kristen says, good deeds, bad deeds? Well, we would want to do good deeds, yes. And it sounds like the Dominions, are mindful to write down every minuscule good deed that we do. So ideally, we want to do good deeds. But I guess what it comes down to it is like, what is there in life except for deeds? I mean, yeah, bad deeds would be part of that too. And it's like, what has a person decided to do? What have they decided to do or not do? Or how did that impact other people? Rahim, I recall Rahim giving a talk one time about how to tell what your legacy is, and if a person, and legacy is, you want to look at the downstream effects of your deeds. And so he talked about, for instance, Madame Curie, who was the person who did a lot with X-rays, I think. But he's like, anyway, larger point is that sometimes you can look at a person and think like, oh, this person like seems amazing, but then the downstream effects might not be that, because they might have done a lot of things that they might have invested their time and energy maybe into a technology that ended up being used for a lot of harm, or they might have mistreated people quite extensively along the ways. And so the only way to know that is to look at the downstream effect. So
what did they leave behind? And that's another form of deeds.
Yeah.
What also came to mind is when you pass over, we talk about materialism is worthless because you can't take it with you when you go. What are you taking with you? You're taking your memories with you, and what are we here for? It's we've got lessons to learn, but I like I like your point of looking at what followed after that person and their behaviors.
Yeah,
Was it positive? Did they generate positive or disaster?
Right. And when Rahim brought that up, it actually made me reassess quite a lot of things. Like, I've always wondered, for instance, like I had a long time ago, had a family friend who worked in the oil business. And this person talked about, it's like this company is so good to my family, and yet they cause so much problems for the world, but they're so good to my family. So she was wrestling kind of with the downstream effects of that. But Rahim's commentary is like, if you're trying to look at the legacy, is like, what's going to be left behind as a result of your actions. And so that clarifies to me, if I see something sketchy, but it's going to treat me well, I shouldn't be part of that thing that's sketchy. It's going to have a downstream effect that used my talents and energies to create a downstream effect that isn't positive. So I need to be responsible for that. So thank you, Rahim. Long time ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think that's it. I think we're ready for meditation.
Meditation. All right. Then I need to share Oh, I did it right. Okay. Now it's time for meditation. If you want to participate, we encourage people to sit with their feet flat on the floor and the palms upward in their lap to receive that wonderful healing energy. For everyone else that needs to pay attention to what they're doing, don't pay attention to us, but by all means come back and listen to these wonderful meditations in the on demand. And for those of us that want to participate, here we go. Let's enjoy.
Find a nice place to sit upright, whether it's on a chair or a favorite place, with your feet flat on the floor and your hands upward on your thighs. Now, take 3 deep breaths to start relaxing the mind and body. And now close your eyes when you're ready.
This is called the gold and purple lights of the divine. Nothing disturbs you. Nothing bothers you. Feel yourself go into a tiny room. Small, but not closed off. Sit on the floor of this room inside yourself and feel the presence of the divine. After all, you are a spark of the divine. This feeling begins to push upward, and the whole room is filled with light that radiates through every part of your physical being, which is nothing more than a faulty vehicle at best, but it houses your spirit, so you will keep it running as best you can for as long as possible. Let that light rinse out all your problems with finances, children, in-laws, living situations, fear of the unknown, or even the fear of being hurt. Rinse away all phobic terrors, and in this room begin now to bring in, one at a time, those whom you wish to protect. Bring in those who needed betterment in their lives, and those whom you wish to heal. Let that light bathe the sick, the ill, or just people you want to protect or remember. Bathe them in shafts of gold and purple light. All are illuminated. Feel yourself to be omnipresent and feel the truth that lies within your own heart, your Christ center, your Gnosticism. All the ravages of fear, antagonism, and revenge begin to drop away. Nothing will hurt you.
And now, on the count of 3, bring yourself all the way up. 1, 2, 3. Fully alert.
Nothing can hurt you.
Wow.
When Sylvia said, bring people in one at a time that you want to protect, I was like, the world, man. And I was like, wait, hold on.
Wow. Crowded
crazy
room.
Times, please. Yes, crowded room.
I was envisioning, close loved ones in the room, and I thought, well, there are those, the negative people that are influencing or causing issues with the loved ones. I brought them in, but gave them their own little spot, cordoned off in their own spot to say, okay, it's like, putting the
Timeout. Quarantine.
time out, yeah, white light in their down their chakras to neutralize their negativity and neutralize their effect on people. So lots of fun ideas and ways on helping others.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
If you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in chat or email us questions to newspirit@novus.org. We appreciate listeners both live and on demand, so show your appreciation for New Spirit Radio by sharing, promoting, liking, and subscribing. Subscribing? Yeah.
Yes.
Pronouncing the words properly. Check out our websites at novus.org, sylviabrowne.com, and chrisrightnow.com. Yes, we're on Facebook and YouTube, because I know several of you are watching on either one. Discord. Yes, you can share ideas and comments in the Discord. What else are we doing? We have monthly Sunday service on YouTube and Facebook. Yes, those are posted. So yes, on the first Sunday of the month, I post a recording of a Sunday service, and there's live Sunday service in Las Vegas, and they stream that service live in a Facebook group that you need to be invited to if you want to watch it. Or participate in it. And on the last Sunday of the month, there's a special Sunday Zoom service. If you want to participate, our Reverend Ellen Schloss hosts that. You can be invited to that as well. Now's the time for the Novena that I spoke about earlier. This is a special prayer ceremony, and what we're going to do is we're going to say a phrase together. And I'll lead us off. We'll say it together 3 times. And that phrase is, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. So we'll say it 3 times together, and then we'll ask for something. And then we'll do that 3 times, and I'll lead us off and remind us of what we want to ask for. How does this work? Why is this helpful? Yes, you probably remember if you've been listening several times, Francine and Raheem remind us of how much we are a spark of the divine. So yes, we carry that with us, and we don't remember how to make things happen like they can. So yes, we're asking for that and reminding ourselves of where we come from. How does this relate? Well, our tenet number 10 says, let no one convince you that you are less than a God. Do not let fear imprison your spiritual growth. So what I'd like you to do now is visualize that we're all holding hands together, creating that synergism, and we're in a huge room. And it doesn't matter when you're watching and participating. So I'm going to lead us off. Here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now ask for things for yourself. Okay, and the second one. Here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now ask for things for others. And now the last one. Here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, picture our light going out like a beacon of light for others seeking this spiritual knowledge. What I would like to encourage you to do now is think of something that you appreciate from last week and carry that memory with you going forward into next week to help keep you emotionally elevated and spiritually uplifted.
Gratitude.
And to follow that, show your appreciation to Francine and Raheem for researching all of this wonderful knowledge, Sylvia for coming to this insane asylum of the universe to start this movement, and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here. Asna for helping us and protecting us, and Father God for providing us the most prestigious school for us to experience, learn, and satisfy our unique spark of curiosity. Appreciate Bob Ingold for helping with some of the graphics and the audio. We especially love and appreciate Sammy and Javon for our wonderful theme music, our intro outro music. Writing, setup, and hosting is Reverend Catherine Taylor. Editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. And now a prayer by Sylvia. Oh, here we go. This will be nice. Prayer by Sylvia.
Prayer for fortitude.
Whoops. Sorry. I only did half the job. Okay. This should be all of the job.
All right.
There we go. Let's try that again.
Awesome.
Prayer for fortitude as parents. Dearest Mother and Father, help me understand love and even forgive my parents. Help me to understand all the roads I've chosen and what lessons I've learned. Also help me to be a good parent. Give me the ability to be fair and loving and a giver of spiritual love and guidance. You are my ultimate parents. Help me to be as close to your example as humanly possible. Give me patience and understanding. I ask for this to be revealed to me by your holy will. Amen.
And Kat's going to tell us.
Merry
It's on already.
Christmas and Happy New Year. Really look forward to seeing you into 2025. Good night.
For so long we have ignored you, as if you were not there. All praise went to the Father. We were so unaware that through the years you've shed your tears for all You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who you are. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You're more than a friend to me. You give me everything I need. In your peace you hold me tight. You are the bringer of the light. With no fear we boldly stand, because you hold this world in your hands. You are the truth, you are the hope and love we never knew. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. Mother